In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Unless they are decreed by a tyrant or some evil despot in order to secure his or her own power, laws are generally meant for people's welfare and safety. I think we all recognize that. I mean, something as simple as traffic laws. I mean, we may get tired of sitting down here at the Linville crossing and we've got the red light and no one's coming from anywhere, but we still sit there and wait. It's all for our safety and welfare. Curfews are the same. If you had teenage children, you probably had curfews for them from time to time. And even as teenagers, you probably were given curfews because when there are teenagers around, nothing after midnight is good. So it's always good to have them back home. But anyway, laws, rules, regulations, commands, they're meant for people's protection and welfare. And so it is with God's laws, with His commandments. And God's loving, protecting intent, which is at the heart of all of His commandments, is seen quite readily in the third commandment as Moses related it to Israel. Again, from our Old Testament reading this day. Moses says to the people, "Observe the Sabbath day and keep it holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter or your male servant or your female servant, or your ox or your donkey or any of your livestock, or the sojourners within your gates, that your male servant and your female servant may rest, as well as you." And then the next verse. "You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm." This commandment, again, very obviously, and all the others as well, but this one in particular, very clear on the blessing that it was behind this command, this law that God gave. It was to give physical rest. When they were slaves in Egypt, they couldn't rest. They were slaves, they were working all the time. And so now that they were free, now they were able to rest, and they needed that kind of rest for themselves. Even their livestock were to have a day of rest. But this rest also provided for the people a time to reflect, for them to reflect on God's great act of their deliverance, of being brought out of Egypt. "You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand." And they were to reflect on that. They had time to do that, to reflect on what God had done for them, the great act that God had done. It's really exactly what we're doing right here. We are here reflecting on what God has done for us in our great deliverance. That's what we're doing. It's undergirding our faith, and that's what the third commandment was given to Israel for the time to undergird their faith with that kind of reflection. And so it is for us. This third commandment, God's intent was for good, to be a blessing, for protection, for the welfare of His people. And this commandment, the Sabbath, is the issue at hand in today's gospel reading. For there, St. Mark records for us two occasions on which the Pharisees challenged Jesus regarding His observance, or rather the lack thereof, the observance of Sabbath laws. And just a little bit of background here. Many of the Sabbath laws at Jesus' time, maybe even most of them, I don't really know, but at least a lot of them, were not prescribed by God. Those Sabbath laws were established by the Pharisees. And these laws, these extra laws that they had established, is what Jesus spoke about from time to time about the traditions of the Pharisees. These laws, these requirements that the Pharisees had developed and had put upon the people. And I suppose that in one way we could commend the Pharisees, at least for their good intention. Because they believed, and I don't know where this came from, it's not anything that God commanded or promised, but the Pharisees believed that if all Israel could properly keep 2 consecutive Sabbaths, then the Messiah would come. And so what they wanted to do, the Pharisees then, looked at, they wanted the Messiah to come. So they did all that they could to make sure that the Sabbath was kept properly. They developed all these laws, all these rules and regulations, so that the Sabbaths could be kept properly, 2 in a row, hopefully, so that the Messiah would come. And so what they did is they built a hedge, which is the term that's used around the Sabbath. They had all these laws and rules and regulations. For example, there is such a thing as a Sabbath day's journey. And that's a distance of approximately 2/3 of a mile. And they were figuring that if you're walking further than that, if you're journeying further than 2/3 of a mile, that's probably a business trip. And you'd be working. And that was forbidden on the Sabbath. So they just lost Sabbath day's journey. You can't walk only so far on the Sabbath day. Another one, there was a law of how many sticks a person could carry. Because they figured if you're carrying too many sticks, well, you're probably going to be making a fire to cook dinner, and that's work. And so they said, only just a few sticks. You can't carry enough sticks to start a fire. So they had all these kinds of laws, putting a hedge around the Sabbath so that the people would keep the Sabbath properly and so that the Messiah could come. And St. Paul possibly had all of these restrictive Sabbath laws in mind as he wrote in 2 Corinthians chapter 3. There he wrote, God has made us competent to be ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. And this is precisely what Jesus took issue with in the events of today's gospel. Again, from the gospel. One Sabbath, Jesus was going through the grain fields, and as they made their way, his disciples began to pluck heads of grain. And the Pharisees were saying to him, look, why are they doing what is not lawful on the Sabbath, according to their laws? According to their laws, by the letter of their law, Jesus' disciples were harvesting. They were taking the grain, corn, and rode it and getting the grains up. They were harvesting. That was work. And that's the work on Sabbath. And so that's why they challenged Jesus about that. And so what the point was that Jesus was making is that, they were hungry. They were hungry, and then he cites David in the Old Testament, how when he and his followers were hungry, they went to the tabernacle and they took the bread that was there in the tabernacle, which only the priests were supposed to eat. But they took it and they ate it because they were hungry. And that's the point Jesus made. The disciples were hungry, and so they took the grains of corn. The spirit of the Sabbath, not the letter of the law, but the spirit of the Sabbath, as God gave the commandment, the Spirit was to be a blessing to people. It was not supposed to be turned into something that would let people go hungry. In this case, his disciples. Again, the second incident in today's gospel reading, Jesus entered the synagogue, and the man was there with a withered hand, and they watched Jesus to see whether he would heal him on the Sabbath, so that they might accuse him. And we're looking to see if he would do the work of a physician, if he would heal this man on the Sabbath. And again, that was the letter of their law. You're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to heal somebody. But the spirit of the Sabbath, again, as God gave the commandment, is that it was supposed to be a blessing for people's good, not something that would prevent or forbid life-giving works of mercy or healing from being done. As with all of God's commandments, the official 10 that we're familiar with, and then there are many others as well, other commandments and laws and regulations and rules given by Jesus in his ministry, also others given by the Holy Spirit through prophets and apostles. All of these laws that come ultimately from God, these commandments, they are given by God out of his great love and out of his concern for the well-being and the protection of all people. And so what this sort of background to the third commandment does, I hope anyway, is lead us to the point that I'd like to make this morning. And that is, whenever we break any of God's commandments, when we sin, in shorthand, it's not just that we break some kind of impersonal law that's written out there somewhere. But when we break a commandment, when we sin, it is as we gave voice to in confession at the beginning of the service. We have doubted your love and rejected your wisdom. And that is a deeper, truly personal matter altogether than just breaking some kind of law. When we break God's laws, His commandments, it's because we doubt His love, which is behind those commandments. We reject His wisdom, which is behind those commandments. We sin because we think we know what's best for us, not God. We sin because we think we know what will truly be a blessing to us, what will make us happy, what will make us feel fulfilled. We reject God's wisdom. In God's wisdom, He knows what is true blessing and what will truly make us happy, what will truly make us feel fulfilled. But we say, like Adam and Eve in the very beginning, God, we know what's best for us. You said not to do this, but we're going to do this anyway. Because we think we know better. When we sin, we are kind of like immature children or manipulative adults. We say to God, maybe not literally, verbally, but we think it, God, if you really love me, you wouldn't send me with this restriction. God, if you really love me, you wouldn't make this required of me. And again, any of us who have been parents have probably heard that from children from time to time. You really love me. And they challenge what our command, our law is. If you really love me, God, you wouldn't put this restriction. If you really love me, God, you wouldn't make this requirement of me. And again, as I said in confession, what's really at the heart here is we doubt God's love. We think we know better and what's best for us. And because of all of this, St. Paul, through the Spirit's inspiration and his own wise insight, I suppose, he wrote this amazing thing in Romans chapter 5. God shows His love for us in that while we were still sinners, God shows His love for us in that even as we doubt His love, even as we reject His wisdom, Christ died for us. The incredible thing that God has done. Even though we at times reject His love, doubt His wisdom, He still loves us. And even as we sin, even as we do that, He sent Christ to die for us. Or maybe another way to say that same thing as again expressed in today's confession earlier at the beginning of the service. We respond to God by saying, in response to our sin, in response to our doubting your love and rejecting your wisdom, in response to all of that, you, God, sent not your wrath to destroy us, but your Son Jesus to be our Savior. That is an incredible thing, isn't it? And so, because God loves us while we were still sinners, because God loves us even though we so often doubt His love and reject His wisdom, even then, we come humbly yet confidently and gratefully, as beggars, to use Luther's term. We come as beggars, with open and empty hands, looking for Christ to fill them. To fill them with His and His Father's incredible love and forgiveness. To fill them with their love and forgiveness, born in bread and wine. While we're still sinners, even though, and even as, we often doubt His love and reject His wisdom, Christ died for us. And He comes to us in our outstretched and empty hands. Amen. Now may the peace and the power of God, which passes all our human understanding, keep your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus, now and always. Amen. We join together in confessing our faith in this incredible God. We do it this day, where we're Apostles' Creed, we stand. And together we say, I believe in God the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and in Jesus Christ, His only Son, our Lord, who was conceived by the Holy Spirit, born of the Virgin Mary, suffered under Pontius Pilate, was crucified, died, and was buried. He ascended into hell. The third day He rose again from the dead. He ascended into heaven, and sits at the right hand of God the Father Almighty. From thence He will come to judge the living and the dead. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the holy Christian Church, the communion of saints, the forgiveness of sins, the resurrection of the body, and the life everlasting. Amen. In our prayers today, we have, again, for some time I've been praying for Jay's son, his brother Frank, up in Virginia, and it appears that he is very, very near death at this time. Jay's up there, Sonny's up there, and other family members as well. And so we, in fact, asked that we pray that the Lord would take him soon, because he's in such pain that he can't seem to control that at all. So we will commend him to God's good and gracious care this day. Also, last week we prayed for Preston, Tammy Hefner's cousin's newborn son, was found to have Hirschsprung's disease, a disease of the intestine, and a pretty complicated surgery. Had that surgery this past Tuesday, and the last thing to see, Tammy's not here, is she? Anyway, she sent an email and said that it appears that surgery on Tuesday was successful and possibly even sufficient. They thought they were going to have even more surgery, but at this point, I look back, this may do it the way it did on Tuesday. So we give thanks for that, and also continue to pray for his healing. Steve asked us to pray for a longtime friend of his, Jeff Eason. He worked with the newspaper, editor of Boy Rock, and he died this past night, and so we pray for that family. Also, a prayer of thanksgiving. Joan asked us to give thanks for her sister Dorothy, who celebrated her 90th birthday. And so she is where? In Fort Wayne. And so we give thanks for that. So these concerns and others, we bring to our God and trust Him in His wisdom to answer as He sees best. Holy Father, remember your church throughout all the world and give to your baptized children a rich share in your light and your peace, especially to those who suffer ridicule or persecution for your name. Lord, in your mercy, hear our prayer. At the dawn of time, you commanded the light to shine in the darkness, and through the preaching of your Son's victory, you have made your light to shine in our hearts. Bless the proclamation of all the servants of your word, that they would, in sincere humility, proclaim Jesus as Lord and themselves as servants for His sake. Lord, in your mercy. King of the nations, to your guidance and direction we commend now our President, the members of Congress, all judges and magistrates, and all who bear positions of public service in our land. Make them a blessing of yours and prosper them in every good deed. Lord, in your mercy. Reminder of all that is good, the gift of Sabbath to your ancient people, you taught them that all have a share in the goodness of your creation. Remember all who struggle to find employment, to manage their finances, and to provide for their loved ones. Open the hearts of all that we may share with one another in your rich bounty, and be delivered from all greed and selfish care. Lord, in your mercy. Hope of the heavy-hearted, remember in your love all those who are afflicted in any way, that they may not be crushed, the perplexed, that they may not despair, the persecuted, that they may not be forsaken, and those struck down, that they may not be destroyed. We especially commend to you all whom we have been asked to remember in prayer. Continue to be with, strengthen, and bless our brothers Don and Fred as they struggle with their cancers and the treatments that they are undergoing. This day we also pray especially for Jenny's son and son's brother Frank. Lord, take him into your arms, and again, it's your good time and your decision, bring him to his heavenly home. But again, with the family, we pray that it would be your will that that happens soon, so that he might not struggle and suffer. Continue to be with him. We're grateful for the faith that he has, and also be with the family as they wait and watch with him. We continue to remember others who have various stages of cancer. The Brazos' family member, Thomas, we're grateful he is stable at this point. David, a friend of Fred Stahl. Francis, a friend of Kitty and Donna. We're grateful also, Lord, that you have been with Reverend Eric Estes, a member of Janice Martin's family, and that he is doing well following his treatments for cancer. We continue to pray for the health and strengthening of Jenny's 1-year-old great-great-nephew, and that the therapy for speech and eating that he has been going through following his surgery, that might go well. We pray for those who are in nursing homes. My brother Alan and Ken Brock in the nursing home in Florida. We also give thanks, Lord, that you have been with Preston, that you have given the skill and wisdom to the surgeons that have performed his complicated surgery. And we ask now that this indeed may be sufficient to give him health and strength, and pray that you would continue to be with him and help him to recover. We pray this day also for the family of Jeff Eason, that they might not grieve overly, but that they might know the promise that is in Jesus Christ for all who have faith in him. Oh Lord, we ask you to look over these people and grant them all that they need. Lord, in your mercy. We pray also, Heavenly Father, for our sister Martha Miller as she prepares to go on her mission trip to Uganda in the next couple of weeks. We ask that you would grant her safety in her travel, and safety also as she is there in that country, and that her witness, together with those with whom she witnesses, might be effective in very many ways. We pray also for the other ministries that we know need your guidance and power, for the Pastor Zhang Yang and the Trinity Hmong Mission, for Krista Young and her ministry in Kenya, and for Joanna Johnson as she teaches at the Concordia Lutheran School in Taiwan. Lord, in your mercy. Father in glory, your Son revealed himself as the Lord of love. He set before his own a rich feast in which he still touches us and heals us and does us good, inviting us to receive the very ransom price of our salvation, his true body and blood. Help all who come to the altar today to rest in his promises and to revel in his love. Lord, in your mercy. Gracious God and Father, we also give you thanks for the gift of life that you give to us all. This day we especially give thanks for Dorothy, that you have granted her 90 years. We pray that you would keep her in health and strength for as many days and years that you still have for her. Lord, in your mercy. The source of all being and life, receive our grateful praise for all those who have died, trusting in the Savior's mercy, and now experience your heavenly Sabbath rest. As we await the day of the resurrection, when the Spirit will cause the life of Jesus to be fully manifested in our mortal bodies, fill us with hope and joyful expectation. Lord, in your mercy.
Hear our prayer.
Into your hands, O Lord, we commend all for whom we pray, trusting in your mercy. Through Jesus Christ, our Lord.
Amen.